I'm going to introduce our speaker then. So for the past 25 years, Ruju Mohan has been active in new humanistic education projects throughout Southeast Asia, promoting meditation in schools, kids, yoga, and storytelling. From 1995 to 2014, he was the educational director of the Manhattan International English School, a kindergarten after-school care program in Daya. Every year, he conducts several kids yoga teacher training programs for those interested in yoga. Additionally, has given hundreds of hours of workshops for teachers on storytelling throughout Taiwan and China. He is currently promoting the Blissful Child Project, training of mothers to tell stories, and promoting the practice of quiet time in schools. In 2016, he started the Amazing Kids Project to promote understanding of issues related to peace for adolescents. In 2018, he started a Gurukul Mountain Retreat Center in Chemin District near Taipei, where he's responsible for developing a Gurukul teacher training center. Since 2000, he has been published many books for teachers and children, including an English curriculum program for young learners based on new mystic concepts and play and movement program for toddlers consisting of 4 books. And I had to make his bio much shorter. So we are so fortunate to have him here. And we're also so honored he will be teaching a course at the New Mystic College of Asheville, and we'll tell you about that at the end. So I'm going to leave it to you. Go ahead.
Vishala, thank you. This beautiful introduction. The problem with old people is there's a lot to talk about them, but I like to look forward. And I'm very happy that we have this new beginning for 2026 to promote storytelling all around the world, and especially storytelling in schools. So my experience in teaching children is that storytelling can be a very effective tool and to put it at the heart of the curriculum, and all lesson planning and all other academic activities are centered on stories. And the reason is that we want to help children develop not just knowledge, but we also want them to develop the wisdom and the inner sensitivity to grow in a more mature way or more neo-humanistic way. And storytelling has this amazing effect. And so today I want to share some of the ideas, and then we are going to show some examples of creative storytelling. And then we are going to, if there's enough time, we'll go into groups, and we make our own stories and we share something together. But, you know, I like to sing. So we have a song, and we are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. We are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. Now there are actions, so I encourage you to try to do the actions with me. So we are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. So we do one more time, okay? We are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. This is our happy song. And there's a second song I want to share with you. And I feel songs, they have this beauty to set the whole scene of the feeling and create love in the heart. So my habit is to sing before we start to talk. It's so beautiful to see flowers, flowers all around me. Flowers in the sky and flowers in the sun. Flowers, flowers, flowers in the eyes of everyone. It's so beautiful to see. Flowers, flowers all around me. Now we have actions for this song too, so try to follow with me. It's so beautiful to see. Flowers, flowers all around me. Flowers in the sky and flowers in the sun. Flowers, flowers, flowers in the eyes of everyone. It's so beautiful to see. Flowers, flowers all around me. Actually, I made this song looking at my children, and when I look at their eyes and I feel their shining hearts, they give me the same emotion as flowers, and I feel so blessed to be with the children every day, all those years that I could be with them, and so this song is a reflection of what we experience in the classroom. Now, today, our focus is on storytelling. Now, in neo-humanist education, and the biggest topic is growing love, and growing love for all that lives and all that doesn't live, for everything. And so, neo-humanist education's main purpose is to help people expand their compassion and their empathy and connection with each and everything. Now, this concept is not only a neo-humanist education, and there are other people who have this vision of growing love through education. And so, for example, in Canada, there is this program that they bring babies to the classroom. And because babies are nonverbal, and the children have to take care of these babies, so when the baby cries, they cannot use their logic to understand. So they have to use their heart to feel, their intuition to feel, oh, what does the baby need? Do we need to change the diaper? Do we need to feed something to the baby? Why she's not comfortable? And so that program is bringing babies to the classroom. And when I saw that, I was kind of amazed, because these mothers who have these babies, they are also kind of very trusting that their babies are going to be okay. But so this is a program with the main purpose of growing empathy. There are other programs. One I saw that brings pets to the classroom. So the children, every class takes turn to take care of school pets. And through this care, they want to help children develop more compassion and more tolerance and more understanding for others. Now, and personally, maybe because I was in Africa for all those years, and I know how simple the environments are in many schools around the world, I try to find a method that could help all the children all over the world. And I see this method as being storytelling. Now, storytelling is very vast concept. It's not just linguistic. It can be art, it can be dance, it can be music. In my case, it is more about verbal and language-based storytelling. So in my school, and I started with telling stories because I didn't know what to do with them. It is a very simple, basic fact of many teachers that I didn't want to hurt my children by being aggressive or forceful or authoritarian. I wanted my children to grow in a very safe and protected environment. And I had tried different other techniques, and then I started to tell stories. And I found that the children can learn very well. And also that they use the stories to understand their environment. And so storytelling helps children make sense of the complexities of the world. So after many years of doing stories in the classroom, I started to research and why storytelling works. Okay, the first one is, stories really grow empathy. And so they did a simple research, a very simple experiment, that they told a story to a group of kids in the classroom. And the kids left the classroom and they would meet an old lady who had fallen down. The children who had listened to stories, when they saw the lady, most of them helped them to get up. Now they did the same experiment with a group of kids who were in the same classroom but playing video games. When they left the classroom and they went outside and they saw the old lady on the ground, a much lower percentage of those children helped that lady. And so experiments like this help people assess storytelling can grow love. It can grow empathy, connection, concern, compassion for others. And so this is an important point. And the second part is that children who grow up with stories during their childhood, when they are adults, and there's research on this also, when they are adults, the first one is, the difference is that they have a very stable family life. So they have less problem with divorce, they have less problem with domestic violence and this kind of issue. The second point they noticed is that children who grow up with stories as adults, they have a bigger social circle. They are more connected with their friends, with their community. And the third one, which maybe is very important for many parents, children who grow up with stories during their childhood, they have higher incomes than average. Means their careers develop better. Now, when I saw this research, I'm very excited about that, but I started to think why. And one reason that I see is when children listen to stories, and stories are about problems. So when they listen to these, how characters deal with the problems in their lives, then these stories help children develop greater decision making, wiser decision making. So when they make better choices in their life, of course, their development will be better. And so this is another important point in the benefit of storytelling. Now the third one that I see is also important is storytelling was for thousands of years the way to teach the next generation. It's just that in the past few centuries, we have this idea about schooling. And we have to train kids, and they have to learn the numbers, they have to learn the letters, they have to, the basic academic stuff. And we forgot about this tradition of storytelling as part of education. And so to teach the next generation, stories was always the go-to method. An older person would talk to the younger ones and say, oh, when I was your age, what did we do? What happened? This war, that war, this famine, this disaster, and how did we deal with it? And, this hero and, this great ancestor. There was this transmission to storytelling, and that we have lost. And we don't help children connect in this kind of, heart-to-heart way with our own culture. And the fourth point that I wanted to mention here, which is also part of neo-humanist education's objectives, is that storytelling develops critical thinking. And so neo-humanist education, one aspect is developing universal love, and the second one is develop a rationalistic mentality. And so we want people not to be blind followers. We don't want our children just to accept if somebody says this or that. We want them to analyze and understand and question. And storytelling trains children to judge, to analyze. In this story, is the bad person really so bad? And why did he become bad? And is the good person really so good? When you listen to a story, you see the events develop, and then you start to think, what is coming next? You're creating expectation, you're predicting, and you're looking at actions and their consequences. And so this is a very important skill for children when they grow up and they are faced with a world where, especially what we see now on the internet, where there's so many untruths or alternative realities, alternative facts. And so our storytelling doesn't just pass on traditions. It actually helps children develop more critical thinking and more self-awareness. And so these are a few points. There are a lot of other things to say. One thing I didn't write down is, but there's research on this as well, is that children who listen to stories, they use their brain in different ways. And it's a little bit like if you're a musician, then the music part of your brain develops more, or if whatever skill you focus on, it changes how you use your brain. But story thinking is the same. And the beauty of storytelling is that stories involve all of the brain. And so it is a very holistic aspect. There are many great people who spoke about stories and the benefit of stories. And on this PPT slide, I quoted somebody who said, stories are the shortest distance between a human being and truth. And stories are the shortest distance between a human being and truth. So if we want to help children find meaning and they want to find their inner depths, I think we have to tell stories. And this is in a short nutshell. I don't know if that's a short nutshell, but anyway, it's a synopsis of the vast scope of research on the benefits of storytelling. Now, storytelling on a stage, or storytelling in a library, or storytelling at home, or in the classroom, actually they're all different. And so, my experience and what I really would like to promote is to do storytelling for the classroom. And so you have a group of maybe 30, 40, maybe 20 kids, and we have to connect with them and tell our stories. And from the story, we develop our academics. Now, today we will not talk about lesson planning, but in the course, we will, of course, go deeper into that. And so the way we present the stories matters. Now, I want to share with you few examples of how I do storytelling in the classroom, and I use very simple techniques. And I believe anybody, anywhere in the world can do similar things. Maybe not the same, but similar. So before we tell stories, we have to sing a song again. Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story before I go to bed. So try together, okay? Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story before I go to bed. Now, because storytelling is a special time, so I have my story hat and I play the recorder. So I want my children to feel I'm going into the dreamland. I'm going to, relax and just enjoy and sit back and let this teacher tell stories. Okay, so it is. There is a professor in the U.S. and he's a professor in storytelling. And actually, he's part of library science, and so you can get nowadays a master's degree in storytelling. And so he talks about transcendence. So when people tell a story, the storyteller takes the children into this unconscious mind and imagine and travel with the storyteller. And the storyteller has to bring back the child to the sensory reality. And so he speaks about transcendence. And this is, anytime you tell stories to kids, they don't look left, they don't look right, they are focused and they are there with you, and you go into the dreamland with them. Okay, so I want to show you my story, the first story I did in my classroom 30 years ago. And this story is a very simple story. We start with a banana. And it's Monday. And there is Brother Monkey. And there is Sister Monkey. And Brother Monkey says, "It's my banana. Give it to me." And Sister Monkey said, No. It's my banana. Give it to me. This is Monday. And after Monday comes Tuesday. On Tuesday, there comes, the bear. Poor girl. And the bear says, "It is my banana. Give it to me." And the monkeys, they say, No. It's my banana. Give it to me. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And on Wednesday, there comes the lion. And the lion says, "Oh, it is my banana. Give it to me." And the bear and the monkeys, they say, No. It's my banana. Give it to me. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And on Thursday, there comes the crocodile. And the crocodile, he opens his big mouth and he says, "It is my banana. Give it to me." And all the animals, they say, No. It's my banana. Give it to me. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And on Friday, boom, there comes the elephant. And the elephant, with a very loud voice, he says, "It is my banana. Give it to me." And the monkeys and the bear and the lion and the crocodile, they say, "No, no, no, it's my banana. Give it to me." Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, who came on Saturday? You can guess, okay? So if you want, you can make a suggestion. Who do you think came on Saturday? It's very small. And it can fly.
A bird.
No, smaller.
Butterfly.
Smaller.
Ant.
It can fly. And it's scary.
Mosquito.
That's right. The mosquito came. And when all the animals saw the mosquitoes, they all quickly ran away. And the mosquito said, "Thank you. I like bananas." And after Saturday, you get Sunday. Oh, Sunday, everybody's tired. The monkeys are sleeping. The bear is sleeping. The lion is sleeping. The alligator is sleeping. The elephant is sleeping. The mosquito is sleeping. The banana is sleeping. Nobody is eating. After Sunday comes Monday. A banana. Monkeys. It's my banana. Give it to me. When I told this story to my children, of course they are 4 years, 5 years old, okay? Don't worry, there are other stories. I just want to show you one method of storytelling. Because within this story, you see all important elements of storytelling. And the first one we call the paralinguistic elements. Paralinguistic elements are, this is not normal language, so boom, 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 oh, it's my banana. So you have to create this, what we call paralinguistic elements to make the story come alive in the children's hearts. Okay? And then the second one I feel is very helpful. There's a lot of repetition in this story, okay? And so if there's repetition, children pick up the language, children pick up the concepts. Now the third one, there's a lot of participation opportunity. Okay, there's Monday, after Monday comes Tuesday, after Tuesday. So you have kids participate. And especially because the language is repeated. Give it to me. It's my banana. Give it to me. So the language is such a way that the children can just naturally flow with you and actually become storytellers just on the spot without them knowing that they are storytellers. And so participation, and then there's paralinguistic elements, repetition, and then the visual. Storytelling, of course, I have to admit, there are some storytellers who just sit in their chair and then, very majestically, they start to tell and create this whole world of imagination. But in the classroom, I feel storytelling needs props. Okay, so props are very helpful to attract and help children focus. And these are some of the aspects I would like to bring up, and especially the paralinguistic element. And then, as a storyteller, I started to learn this after many, many years. But actually, you're the actor, and at the same time, you're the director. So actually, you're directing yourself to act in a certain way. Now, if you understand a little bit about meditation, you become the you actually look at yourself, and you're very much in charge of your own emotions. You're very much in charge of your own expression. And this is something we learn in meditation. To step out of myself. I am myself, but I can also step higher. I'm the director level, and I can observe myself. I can observe the reactions between myself and the audience, my students. And okay, as a teacher, that is a good thing to learn. But I also think that if I can train my children to learn this, that they are in charge of their own emotional expression, then I think my children, they develop a skill that can help them manage many problems in their lives. That they can step out of the story and be that storyteller, not the story actor. And so actually storytelling has many nice elements. Okay, so these are paper puppets. And I don't know if you've noticed, but these paper puppets are very simple, and I put a little bit of tissue with white glue, so they become more, they get a kind of a feeling. It's not just paper anymore. And so children, they like to touch things, you show them, and so that's why, better use sturdy stuff before your props get lost. Okay, so this is paper puppets, and this is what we call a story stick. Okay, and nowadays, nowadays we cut it in half to make it easier to carry, and yeah, we have some other uses. But basically, you need 2 grooves to place your puppets and make the story come more alive. And some teachers, they put the things on the board. I find this works very well, and it's easy to make. Okay, so this is one method. And the second one I want to show you are big books. And so when I started, I made the books really big, and I need big bags to carry them here and there. They become so heavy, and it wastes a lot of paper. So my big book became like this. And in the big books, the idea is that we focus on the basics. We simplify. So here's a tree, and now who lives in the tree? And so this story is called My Home. So who lives there in the tree? And so here I made a small envelope, and then I showed them, the monkey lives in the tree. So the books we make are super simple. What you talk about is what they see. So there is a hole. Who lives there in the hole? So we take out the card, and there is the rabbit. So it's a rabbit's hole. This is the rabbit's home. Here's the grass. Who lives in the grass? So we ask the kids to guess, okay? And then, let's say, I hope they find, okay, there's a snake. Snakes live in the grass. That is their home. So basically, it's about habitats in very simple, basic way. There's a nest. Who lives in the nest? And of course, it's the bird. The flower, there is the butterfly. So actually, what you see here has a dimension that attracts children, okay? Because they're surprised. There is, guessing, a riddle, and it's very simple to make. And it's just 2 pieces of paper stuck together, and you put another piece of paper inside. So it becomes a small envelope. And I don't know if you've noticed, here I used the hand shape to do all this artwork. And one reason is that, it's interesting, and I want my children also to play with their hands and make their own artwork. And it simplifies the whole process. So you don't need to spend so much time. Okay, so big books. And big books come in many different different ways, okay? So imagine yourself that this book is in the hand of a 5-year-old kid, and this is about pants. Pants that dance, okay? And actually there's movement. Anyway, I'm just going to show you the book. Whose pants? The frog's pants, okay? And then we jump, we move the legs like frogs, okay? So we sit on the chair. Whose legs? Whose pants? The horse's pants. And then we do the rhythm like horse, okay? Elephant. So you have to imagine the child holding this in front of their body, and it's really, the upper body is human and the bottom is like this. So this is all about pants and the movement and the rhythm and that comes with them. And then we have no pants. And so this is another book. Now these books we call vocabulary stories. And so when we start with storytelling, for smaller children, we don't just jump into Little Red Riding Hood or Three Little Pigs. We want to build up their story thinking. Can they visualize imagery that connects with the language? Okay, so big books come in many ways. I want to show you one more. This is a pop-up book. And so here, actually, you create a kind of a magical environment and you tell your story with this. Now, the way we choose what prop to use for what kind of story has a lot to do with the story structure. And so, for example, this book, when you look at it, I hope you can see it has 4 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this story has 4 sections. So the story prop you use has to help children understand the story framework. And if they can see the story structure from your prop, they can spend more time on the story contents. They can go deeper into the meaning of the story because they already see you have organized the whole story framework. And in this way, the children can go deeper into understanding the meaning of the story. So when I use paper puppets, of course, it saves me much time because it's much quicker to make. But usually I use paper puppets for stories with many characters and where the environment is not so important and the location is not the main thing. The characters, the interaction is the main thing. So the children don't need to worry where it happens. It can be in the zoo, it can be, but they focus on characters. And if
Ya Chinali. Teacher?
We lost his voice.
Saya dia. Ya, 他想去. Yes.
Can somebody?
Ruja
speak on-
Mohan, you muted
Can you
yourself.
unmute
I'm
yourself?
here.
And everybody else, can you mute, please?
Thank you. Are you back? Everybody's back?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was mentioning is that if you bring in the location, the children will maybe lose focus on the characters. And so you have to slowly you'll learn this process. Once you start working with different prop techniques, we have circular stories and we have circular props. We have this like gingerbread man. It's a timeline. There's the old woman, there is the old man, and then there is the horse and the dog and and it finally comes the fox. So your story prop has to show the sequence. And when it shows the sequence, the children can focus more on context. And this is research, okay? It's not just my idea. And so actually storytelling props can be done in many different ways. When I started, I gave myself this target that every week I must make one new story prop. And I gave myself this target for 2 years, so I would have 100 props. And then after 2 years, I still continue. Until today, I still continue. And the reason is that when you do this preparation of a story prop, you already visualize what you're going to do in the classroom. So in education, we say what you do before you go to class is more important than what you do in the class. And so you already spend 2 hours making your story prop, maybe 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, you are focused on what you're going to do the next day in the classroom. So this thing is already deep from within yourself. It is not something that, oh, you run to school, it's 8 a.m., oh, you pick a book from the shelf and you tell a story. It's not like this. Creative storytelling, you have to put your heart, your commitment. And, you know, now we're looking at the computer. And in the classroom, I want my children to look at me and I want to look at them. I want to have this human connection. And I want them to feel what I feel, and I want to feel what they feel. I want to have this intimacy. And storytelling creates this environment where we can be together in a very safe and very pure and a very adventurous and magical way. And maybe I'm a little bit romantic, and maybe I'm just an old man, but I was like this all the time. So I don't know, it has nothing to do with my age. All right, so sorry, I get distracted. So I've shown you big books, pop-up stories, and I want to show you one more prop, okay? And because in English language we have these Jack stories. And so this story is about Lazy Jack. So here is a glove, and here is a styrofoam ball. This is Jack. Sorry. This is Jack's mother. And then there is the rich man's daughter. And so with these 3 characters, I can tell the whole story. And so you can make things very simple. I know there are many ready-made puppets, but I feel when you make your own puppets and you take this to the classroom, there is a different feeling. And so when I say creative storytelling, means creating your own props is one big part. And of course, creating your own stories is also very nice. And so you know, many people maybe think, how do I start? Our course, the main purpose of the course is to introduce different techniques. And so you can experiment with different ways of storytelling. And then you get a feeling, when you practice it with your children, with your audience, you get a feeling what works for you in your setting, and what works with which story. And so you become more fluent. And we have movie stories, okay? We create our own movies, not computer movies, handmade movies. We have, you know, in India you have the kavad. In Japan you have the kamishibai. There are so many different techniques, and we can learn from different cultures around the world. Sorry, I talk too much. I think I'm going to be in trouble.
No trouble.
And so this is, I want to show you the last example of creative story. And this is with our hands, this the TPR, we call total physical response. Okay, TPR stories means you do a movement and you speak the language. So children, they will associate the language with this movement. Okay, so it's easier for them to remember. Now, I think all of you know this game, Simon Says. And then Simon Says, go to the door. And if you don't say Simon, they don't have to do the action. Simon Says is also a TPR activity. You do the action, you learn the language. Okay, so here's a simple story, okay? It's snowing, 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 snowing. Let's make a snowman, snowman, snowman. Let's make a snowman. I make a small ball. I roll it, I roll it, I roll it. I make a big ball. Again, I make a small ball. I roll it, I roll it, I roll it. I make another big ball. Let's make a snowman, snowman, snowman. Let's make a snowman. I give him eyes. I give him a mouth. I give him a carrot nose. There comes a little bunny. Hop, hop, hop. He says, I am hungry in my tummy. I want to eat that carrot. But the snowman says, no. Then he hops, hops, hops away. Hops, hops, hops away. TPR. Okay, so we have actions, and children very easily will pick up the language, and then they are able to show the story. And now, what is our purpose? Okay, we have already said that storytelling helps empathy, critical thinking. It develops more wisdom and all this morality. From storytelling, we are story listening. They become storytellers. From storytellers, they become story readers and story writers. And from storytelling, the next step is speech making. And so when children have this, they go to the adolescence years and they develop more rationality, we can train them to use their storytelling skills to make speeches, to talk about problems in the world. And here in Taiwan, I have seen children who 1 week they will do storytelling and drama, and the next week they will do speech making. And so they alternate these two. And when you look at those children, you see their maturity, their expression ability, they're opinionated, they know how to communicate. And I think our society needs more of those skills. It's not just we look online and then we send a message and shout at people. And so if you ask me, how can we implement the neo-humanist vision all over the world? As a movement, I believe we have to focus on techniques like storytelling. And we develop this storytelling culture in our schools, and we inspire other schools to follow similar models. And storytelling is the basis for literature. And literature helps us go deeper again into our own understanding of life. And so actually storytelling is not just entertainment. It is something that can really make a change in the world. And there are many people in the world who say these things. I have never seen one movement who says these things. And many individual storytellers, they work so hard. And there's one book I inspired me very much, Spinning Tales, Weaving Hope. And in America, there are many great storytellers who really work hard to bring this storytelling to schools. But I've not seen it as an educational model. And now what we are doing, what we are doing here is we started to develop this concept of storytelling schools. And so we have created storytelling props. We have done storytelling curricula, like for example, fairy tales, or for multicultural stories, or we have done for the Circle of Love a set of 40 stories with props. We have done for Jama Niyama, for more, we call the Values of Love. And so we have 20 stories for the Values of Love, and we have done 2 levels. One is the Super Bunny cycle, and one is the Story Tree cycle, which is more difficult, a little bit bigger children can learn that. And we have done storytelling about ecology on the Earth Lovers Family platform. And so we have been promoting storytelling actually as much as we could do. And I'm very happy actually in today's sharing, there are many story angels who helped me so much actually, and who believe that we can do something better for the next generation in a very practical and in a very powerful way. And so actually this storytelling, I think it has been growing. And you know, I sometimes get the opportunity to speak with teachers in Taiwan for the Ministry of Education. And there is a feeling that there's too much technology in the classrooms today, and that human connection is lost. And so there are a lot of, of course there is electronic whiteboards, or there are PowerPoints, or in my classroom no PowerPoints. There's no TV, there's no screen. There's the teacher and the student, and we work together to connect and grow together. And I got feedback from our teachers that that today there's too many analytical methods to analyze of the benefits and the level of the students and whatnot. And there's too little of this human interaction. And I think that storytelling can restore the humanity in our education. And it is a simple focus. And within this simple focus, we can bring all the aspects of neo-humanist vision. Whether we talk about prejudice, and this is one thing I forgot, we have made stories about prejudice and talking about prejudice, and we can, through storytelling, I feel we can bring more life and beauty back into the schools. And I'm very thankful for the Neo-Unionist College of Asheville to arrange this sharing program. And I'm sorry I talk so long.
Oh, no. It's no
Sometimes I
problem.
get carried away.
But here's the thing. The thing is that you have so much to share, and you have such a breadth of knowledge and experience. And we are delighted that you are willing to share that in a whole course. And, people will really get practical experience and practical skills, and because that's how you teach, with people. So I think we have the slide up. I encourage people to really go to the New Mystic of College website, and there's a Q code there on the slide, and really check it out. We're almost at the end, but I think if people have questions, maybe if they put it in the chat, or if you want them to sort of unmute, if people have some questions for you, that might be really nice, because we have a few minutes for that. So maybe if you want to put it in the chat, if you have some questions for Rudra Mohan, he'd be happy to answer them. Maybe everyone's just so enthralled. I don't see.
Sorry. I hope I didn't knock this out.
No. Oh, or you can just unmute and ask. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
My question is just your style is so lovely. Like I see easily you're with small children. Have you also how do you adapt it when you're with like teens, older children? Because they don't anymore want to identify themselves as like small children. So I think you work with a variety of ages. So I'm just curious how that works for you.
Well, that's very interesting. So this school where my school is, and there's this junior high school, and they have 24 classes for the first grade, and they got me for Christmas to go there. Maybe they thought I looked like Santa Claus, and so I went there every day. I did 5 classes. So for 1 week, every day I did, and actually what you saw today is what I do with them. Of course, the stories are more. They're more age appropriate and deal with issues of connection and solving problems for building good relationships and peace education. And what I found is that through the stories, they find back their child. So the teachers who were sitting in with me through this, they gave me feedback that from what they saw with me, because I tell the stories, I sing songs, and then the children have to do the drama. They act out the stories and role plays. And he said they never do this in the classroom. And he felt that they have to change what they have to make some changes in the way they have been teaching. And when we stay with them in this kind of program, because the second year they call me again, and I got kind of scared because 25 classes, the same program is kind of repetitive. But what I found is that you build up and you try to help them develop this inner awareness, and you can slowly guide them towards meditation. And so this quiet time and self-reflection and storytelling are all interwoven. And I see the same with the teachers who have stayed with me throughout all these years, that after all these years, they want to know more about the psychology. They don't want to only focus on the techniques. They want to focus on the vision, and they want to transform their own vision. And so this is what I see. What you mentioned is that, I've been doing this for 25 years, day in, day out. And then I've been doing workshops. I don't know why, but I'm always in a workshop somewhere, sometime. And we have a good time. We have so much love and so much connection. And it's very healing. And just last week we were in Harbin, minus 18 degrees, and we had such a beautiful time. Stories are really the best way to bring people together. And if we can do it in the classroom and have academic approach for how to use the stories, I think we can really make a change in education.
We have a couple questions in the chat. How rationalistic mentality can be ensured through stories besides asking reflective
One
questions
second,
after the
I
story?
have to recharge something. Must immediately. I'll be ready. Okay. This good question. So the question is, how can we develop rational thinking through storytelling? Well, there's a big misconception about storytelling that it's only emotion and imagination. There is also rationality. There's a lot of logic, and you have to understand stories and you have to analyze stories. So when you hear a story, you start to think about issues, and you make already, what would you do in this situation? What do you feel is you analyze the behavior of the characters, and this skill helps us analyze our critical thinking skills, helps us analyze social issues, helps us analyze our own behavior. And even I myself, as an old man, I find sometimes I see the situation and I take the imagery from the story and I say, oh no, I don't want to go down that path. I have to change my behavior. And so it's emotional awareness, but it's also critical thinking that, yeah, this is wrong. Sorry, I made a mistake. And so when we look at politics, I feel that this is an issue, that if children would listen to more stories when they were small, they wouldn't make the choices that we see today in society.
Thank you. The second question we have is, do you train the older children to become storytellers?
Actually, we start from when they are 3 or 4 years old. And they go on stage. It's a little bit like this Yamaha violin, I don't know if you know about that. As soon as a kid knows how to take the violin in their hand, these teachers, they will put them on the stage and everybody will clap for them. And so you create this sense that, okay, I go on stage and I stand in front of the classroom and I take the teacher's props. They already feel very dignified to have the teacher's resources in their hands. And they can share the story. What they can say, they say. What they cannot say, we help. Everybody helps together. And so we do this from very young age. This starts with 3, 4-year-old children. And you'll find the children who are very shy, and when they become storytellers, they become very outspoken. It's just like they take away their mask and they become a different person. I have so many interesting experiences, and many teachers here can actually share.
Great. Can we maybe, Krishna Prema, can we stop the share so we can all just see each other? Yeah. And
Shita has her hand raised.
Yes, namaskar. Thank you so much for this sharing. Actually, I also wanted to share this about, I also had experience of telling stories to children, very young children, like 3 years old to 5, and using puppets and all these creative techniques. And suddenly, when they are in the free play, they repeat this process, and they by their own they create like a small stage, and they start telling stories, one children to the other children. So they repeat, and also not only they repeat the stories that you tell, but they create their own stories, and they are expressing the values or the things that are happening in their lives. And this is amazing because they are already becoming storytelling. You are not pretending to train them, but they just imitate what they see around. So it's just happening. So thank you so much. Very inspiring, your experience.
I'd like us to thank again Ruja Mohan. Yay. Yay. And one thing that I do on Zoom is if we could if we can show our videos for a second and put our hands like this, we'll all be sort of holding hands together, right? And enjoying such a wonderful start or end to our day, no matter where we are. And I know for me, I'm signing up for your course, Rudra Mohan. So I hope everyone will consider it and we can enjoy more time together.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
Vishnu.
yes. And our time is over, but I'd like to, yes, just thank everybody.
So we have to sing one more song, you know?
Excellent. Perfect.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
We are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. We are a family of love. Father, mother, sister, brother are my family. We are a family of love. Vishala, Vishwamitra, Ricky, Mayatita, Dishta, Arati, Mary, everybody is my family. Thank you so much for joining today, and best wishes for 2026, and I hope to see you in our course and in future programs. I'm sure this is the beginning.
Yes, it is.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much.